Now, some news outlets have decided to quit X, formerly known as Twitter, since the election of Donald Trump, whose campaign was financed and supported by X's owner Elon Musk. Sweden's newspaper of record, Dagens Nyheter, became the third major outlet to leave X on Friday, citing a harsh and extreme environment on the website. The UK's Guardian newspaper and Spain's Vanguardia have done the same. Since buying Twitter 2 years ago, Elon Musk has drastically reduced content moderation. We can now talk to David Chavalerius, sorry if I'm butchering your name then, do correct me, research director at the French National Centre for Scientific Research and author of the book Toxic Data. Thanks for speaking to us.
Hello.
So Musk has both reduced moderation, but also appears to, in some places, applied heavy-handed moderation on other accounts, perhaps ones critical of him. Have you noticed a kind of double standard at play?
Yes, so there is many cues that Elon Musk has made some intervention on X to favor his opinions. First, we have to see that all these things are quite opaque because we don't have access to the inside of X Twitter, but we can see what's happening outside. So what we see is that he has increased the toxicity of the networks. I mean, he has overspread toxic content, and also he has put some user immune to, for example, community notes, and he has promoted this kind of ideologies throughout Twitters. We also have to say that Elon Musk has 200 million followers on X, and he has architecture X so that when he says something, everybody on X is listening to it because it is broadcasted broadly to every user. So he has weighted a lot on X user perceptions of these elections, and also more widely to American user because he has also used this kind of data to, for example, send SMS to user and set up lots of deceptive campaign to make Kamala Harris appear incompatible with American voters' values. But it was based mostly on fake news.
Now, I wanted to just zoom in on one thing you mentioned there, community notes. This is something that Elon Musk rebranded when he took over Twitter and gave it more visibility, giving users the ability to comment on posts by voting en masse on things that they don't consider to be correct. How has this been used? Surely it looks on the surface to be a democratization of the platform, but is it more complicated than that?
Yes, actually, it is more complicated, and we really don't have access to the inside of the community notes. So we know that some accounts are immune to community notes. Also, we have to say that community notes are not necessarily true. I mean, it's not because a lot of people are saying something that it is true. In particular on X, where it is heavily biased now to far-right activists. So community notes cannot be taken as a ground truth, actually.
Now, what Reporters Without Borders took X to court in France this week because of the amount of fake news there is on the platform. Is the judicial path a viable one? Do you see this as being able to come to any result?
So from the judiciary part, I think that the law will always be behind these kind of platforms. I mean, it's important to regulate, but also it's really important that users realize what is happening on that networks and also realize that they can choose other networks. I mean, there are lots of other networks that are more compatible with free speech. Let's remind that Musk has just closed some accounts arbitrarily. So there are also networks like Blue Sky and Mastodon that are now growing where this action could not be possible. But so the important thing is that we have to quit X, as you say about the major journal, but we have to quit X in an organized manner. I mean, we have to commit to quit X on January 20, where Elon Musk will not be accountable toward justice because he will be in power, and use until January 20 our audience on X to persuade user and to make user understand what is really happening with this network.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a paradox in there because previously, Twitter being the place that everyone went, that centralization is what meant that it was a powerful tool for public, the public sector, for journalists, for academics, and that was a place to find world leaders, to find press releases. Now, if we've got X, Blue Sky, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Threads, all of these different places people are going, surely there is now no viable central place. And there is no harmonized exodus. As much as you can call for one, that's not the reality.
Yes, actually, we have to understand that X has a lot of importance at the beginning because it was like an open place where people can see every message were public, and also because they were the first, they gain like some momentum. Now X is closing its access. For example, you need to have an X account to access to some part of X. So it's not open anymore, but on sides there is other platforms that has draws. So we have to distinguish platforms that are very centralized, like X, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., and platforms that are by design decentralized. And there is only two platforms like that, which are Blue Sky and Mastodon for the moment. I mean, that has some this kind of scale of information. So these are the two platforms that should be favored to go and create new accounts to spread information, because on this account, on these platforms, we are guaranteed that free speech will hold, and that nobody can just close your account because you are Musk and you don't agree with this account.
I mean, there might only be one example on the internet today where people go to a decentralized, free of charge place on a regular basis, and that would be Wikipedia, with tech giants backing their own platforms with huge amounts of money. Think, for example, of Threads, which is now probably X's biggest competitor, and other places like LinkedIn, as I mentioned. How can a small niche platform, something like Blue Sky, possibly hope to compete with these means?
I think that there will be some economic model to find, but this platform will grow because we have to understand that the value of a platform is its user. So if people leave X, for example, if we have no more value, and if people investigate platforms like Blue Sky or Mastodon, there will be the platform where the information will be. So after this, we have to understand that there will be many new economic models that will develop. On decentralized networks, for example, you have many actors that create their own servers that connect with other servers. So locally, you can have even many different economic models. So I'm quite optimistic that we can have a sound digital space with this kind of decentralized systems. Now the stakes is how we migrate, because we are trapped in this kind of centralized systems like X, Twitter, and we have to go out of X. But we cannot do this one by one, because when you leave X, then you lose all your audience. So we have to take time until January 20 to explain and build tools for migration. And so on January 20, there will be tools so that people can leave X with both their text messages and their audience, and find these text messages and their audience on these new platforms, Mastodon and Blue Sky. This is the goal.
David Chavalarias got it right that time. Thanks so much for speaking to France 24.
Thank you.